let's jump into this. So I think we'll start all just with a few kind of key headlines. So we got Scottie Scheffler coming in, world number one. He's defending his title. If he wins, it'll be his third green jacket in 4 years, and that is only an accomplishment which has been achieved by one other golfer, and that his name is Mr. Jack Nicklaus, who is a decent player.
Yeah, sure. It was either him or Tiger.
He's got a big future in the game.
I think so.
I mean, if you accomplish what Tiger's accomplished at the Masters as well, you'd be pretty
Doing all right,
happy as well. This is, of course, the year rolls around again for Rory McIlroy in pursuit of the Grand Slam. Now, if you're not familiar with the Grand Slam, golf has 4 majors. Now, Rory has won the USPGA, the Open, and the US Open. This is the one major event that he has not won. And now if he wins it, he will hold all 4 titles and he will join an illustrious group of players to have won the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
It's I would say the pinnacle of pretty much every single major professional golfer's career. If you manage to do the Grand Slam, you are a legend within the game.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. The other kind of talking point here is Liv have kind of got quite a few of their golfers participating this year, and it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how they get involved and also if one of them is going to be the favourite. So, first of all, Scottie Scheffler, yes, no?
Yes, no. I mean, if you want a yes, no answer, I'm going no. I just... The ability for, and you've seen it over the years now, for someone to come back to Augusta and defend is just something that doesn't happen. It's so hard to do. I mean, even Scotty proved it. He decided he had to take a year off before winning his second one. But obviously you can't underestimate and you can't rule him out. There's nothing to say that he can't do it. But just going off the historical backing of that golf course and this event, going and winning back-to-back is troublesome. And we've seen recently he's kind of gone back to those putting woes again. He's struggling a little bit on the greens. He's not coming in as hot as he was the last previous times that he's, winning how many times he was before he got here. It's a tricky one to see him actually. For me, out of all the years he's won it, this is the year that I'm a little bit cold on him. And I feel horrible saying it, but it's kind of true. And
you would say that if there was... Do you remember when Scott Scheffler came into the Masters when he won at Bay Hill? He'd won the Players.
He'd won everything,
He was coming in hot. Just imagine if Rory McIlroy
could maybe have done that?
Won the Players.
Yeah.
And was coming in hot.
Yeah.
Just imagine what that would be
but
like.
But not just the Players, like if he'd won Pebble as well, and just, that would have been good.
Just imagine what a good frame of mind that he would be in.
You'd have to say his favourite, no?
I mean, you would have to say so. You would think so.
Yeah.
Maybe except in his own mind.
Yeah. Just do it. It's so hard to talk about this.
I am not gonna get involved emotionally with it. I'm just gonna be steadfast in thinking that he's not going to win. And even when he gets 4 clear with 7 holes to go, you know what? I'm still not going to get invested. Until he dons that green jacket, I'm just not going to care.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know, well, not only myself, but how the golfing world would just react if he did it. It's such a... As a narrative, this is probably the one unanswered question that's like the most anticipated in golf right now, is Rory, can he complete the Grand Slam? You've obviously got 2 other guys, Phil and Jordan, who are vying for it, but you would probably say that Rory has the best chance out of the 4 currently in regards to that.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Phil's not going to win the US Open.
No.
That chance is gone. Because if he did, that would be one of the most incredible stories in golf. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Spieth, we're still waiting for him to kind of get back to where he was. If that will ever happen, I don't know. But there's always a chance. Mm-hmm. Like the USPGA's, again, as we mentioned, like a pointless major. Mm-hmm. But with the Masters, there is so few times when you look at a player, you look at a course, and you just say, they belong together. Like, Rory should have won 5 green jackets at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's only because of the scar tissue that he picked up at that. If you're not familiar, Rory had a fantastic chance to win at Augusta very early in his career. He then went on to win the US Open. I think, was it the US Open the event after?
Yeah.
In that year?
Yeah,
I think it was, wasn't it? When it was at Valhalla?
Valhalla.
And he dominated that event. And he was so in control at Augusta. And then he snap hooked it off 10 and it all went downhill. Augusta got him. Like, he got amen cornered.
He did.
Like, he sent up prayers and no one answered. And from that point, it just seems that he has something in his mind. He has so much pressure building up to this week that he never seems to rise fully to the occasion. And every time I've watched him since that point, apart from a few different examples, I've got to be honest, he's never seemed to completely enjoy it. You can almost see that pressure is pushing down on him. The one thing I would say, and the one thing which I think is in his corner, is, like you said, how much other people want him to win.
Yeah.
When I was at the Masters,
clang,
in 2018 when Patrick Reed won, I couldn't believe like how much support he had, even against Patrick Reed, who at the time I presume was like everyone's favorite in America because of all the Ryder Cup stuff. Apparently not, but Rory's support there is unbelievable. Like, they will be cheering him on, they will be trying to push him over the line.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It's it's so hard to talk about this because you can't not sound like a beaten drum of just saying the same thing over and over again, because it's the same thing that we say every single year, as does the whole golfing mediascape. Like, that, it's not an unknown thing that people want Rory McIlroy to win the Masters, and this is what he needs to get the career Grand Slam. So that emphasis on that and pushing him over the line, and as you say, like, where that puts him in the upper echelon of golfers that have ever existed, it just sort of glorifies him and puts him into an unweightable amount of quality that you can't get if you haven't had the career Grand Slam.
But this year I would say that this year he's probably got a better chance than ever, because a lot of the people at the top of the game who you would say, right, based on what they've done last year, based on kind of historic appearances at the Masters and in majors and the champions that are there, you've got Scottie Scheffler, just come back from an injury, definitely not at his best with putting. You got Jon Rahm, who's been playing okay on LIV, like he's obviously won over the past 12 months, but again, he's not coming into this on absolute fire. You've got Ludwig Aberg is probably the one, maybe, which again would be a great story, but even like Xander Schauffele, like untouchable last year, coming back off an injury, not going to be up there competing, you would think, but he has a good record at Augusta. So there's so many players who would have challenged him maybe 4 or 5 months ago who are not in the best of form.
Sure.
Whereas you've got Rory, who is in the best form.
Yeah.
He's winning, and he's winning well. He's swinging it great. He's got his wedges under control. Oh, I'm starting.
It doesn't take a lot.
I'm starting.
It doesn't take a lot. No, I agree. It's that top tier of players, although unbelievable golfers. You're right. There's something you can say about each one of them that can withhold them from winning. Scottie, over the last few years, you've just not seen any reason, apart from putting every now and then, why he wouldn't win. Same with Jon Rahm when he's coming in. He hasn't had as good a start on LIV as he had the previous year. Ludwig's a weird one because obviously he won at Riviera. He didn't win at Riviera. He won the Genesis, which was meant to be at Riviera, which I always love to have a look and see who does well there, because I always feel that Riv and Augusta line up really nicely. But obviously you can't take anything from it this year.
Not this year.
But then I don't feel like he didn't play great at the Texas Open. He's not again coming in with like super hot form. He obviously had an amazing finish last year, had that unfortunate on 11. He'd love to have that shot back again. I think when you go down that list, I think maybe Morikawa's kind of the first name you see and you go, you know what, he's playing well. He's leading the PGA Tour strokes tee to green, which obviously as a metric is perfect for Augusta. You've got to hit your fairways, and also your approach play's got to be bang on. He's very streaky with the putter, but we've seen if he gets hot with it, then he can stay hot and he can challenge, and he's been challenging for majors for the last year. So he's definitely an interesting one for sure. But yeah, Rory, please just put us out of us. We all stop talking about it when you start doing it.
I'll just give a quick rundown of the odds. So Scottie's favourite, Rory is second. Then you got Rahm, Ober, Morikawa, DeChambeau is up there. I've got to be honest, there's something about DeChambeau and Augusta that I don't quite like. Even though on paper he should like dominate around there, there's just something there that I just don't quite doesn't quite fit for me. Xander, Justin Thomas, Joaquin Niemann, Matsuyama, Victor Hovland. It's kind of a surprise team up there. I know he has had the win this year, but that was kind of like a little bit of a flash in the pan. You feel like Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, who's never out of it at Augusta. Apparently, Patrick Cantley, Tommy Fleetwood, guaranteed top 10. Shane Lowry and Zalatoris, and it kind of keeps going down. There is quite an even spread this year between live golfers as well. Like you would expect it at this point. Obviously, they've invested heavily in getting the very best players over to that tour. But you got Rahm up there. Obviously, DeChambeau was spoken about. Neiman is always fancied around Augusta as well. You always pick Neiman.
I do like Neiman. Yeah, again, blends in nicely to what I was saying before. He was a winner at Riv. Think that fits nicely. He hits the ball miles, which, like, you say he's sneaky long, but everyone knows he's long. But you just look at him and you don't think but he hits it super far. The thing with him is that, like, obviously he's for 2 years running now, he's come in off the back of winning a couple of live events. And you always have to, unfortunately, you know, whether you're a live enthusiast or not, you do have to take those wins with a little bit of a pinch of salt, given the quality of the field, how big the fields are. So it's tricky, because if, say, he could be playing some of the best golf in the world, and obviously Phil Mickelson came out a couple of weeks ago and said that he believes that he's the best player in the world right now. But you also, I don't think you have to be playing at the absolute tippity top of your game to win on live at its current form with the players that are there at the moment. So I'm always a little bit tempered by that, though, you know, he has to have played good golf to win these events, and I think that will definitely translate well. Like I say, he hits the ball far. He's an excellent. He's around the greens, so I like the look of him. I think in terms of a live player, he's my favourite of who's coming over. But I also, as you know, I love to go into a little bit more detail and work these things out. So before I get into mine, though, I'll ask you: who do you think will win the Masters 2025?
Rory.
Oh no, he did it.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go there.
He did it.
I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna preface this with obviously a huge. It's the Masters. It's Rory. On paper, should do it.
Yep.
Has to do it. You would feel at some point in his career, but there's no guarantee. But at some point, you feel that the dam has to break. At some point, something has to fall into place within his own mind that says, you know what, I can do this. And this has to be the best chance he's had in so long. He's playing so well. He's not going into this major either with his usual barrage of like weird things that he's doing. Before every single Masters, he always comes up with something. Oh, you know, I've changed my putter. I'm on a new diet. I'm only drinking wine on a Tuesday night. There's always something that he's trying to adapt. Whilst this year, he's had an alteration in his swing at the start of the year. It's looking good. He's swinging great. This has to be it. I don't want to get emotionally invested, but I know I will.
You can't help it.
I know. That's the problem. Every time he pulls me in. Like, if he's a fisherman,
just don't fight
he
it.
knows the bait to lure me in.
But what is the bait? It's just that he's Rory McIlroy.
It's just Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
I'm just a dumb fat fish in the river right now, and I'm just waiting for him to cast.
Yeah.
Because I know as soon as that lure goes in, I'm biting.
Yeah.
Every time.
When he birdies the first. And
it's all over. I think on that, though, I think probably outside. I would go outside, and I think he would get a decent odds, actually. I think Sergio.
Okay. I think he's about 100 to 1.
So Sergio's he's having a good year on live. He's obviously a past champion there.
Yeah.
The way he's swinging and the way he's hitting it, he's kind of like a bit prime Sergio at the moment. And he's got a game and he's got a swing which is, it's always been powerful, but it's not a game which is built on power.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's had his putting problems, but apart from that, his ball striking is unreal. So, yeah, for an outsider, I would go for Sergio, I think, from the left side.
Yeah, I like that.
But before we discuss any further, we, of course, need what everybody wants to hear as the majors roll around. It is Stats with Jacob. It is Jacob's
Come
picks.
on.
To put you in the picture, At the Open at Royal Liverpool, we had Stats with Jacob before that event, and he picked Brian Harman out of the hat. I used that pick and I wrote it to make myself look incredibly smart on all the broadcasts that went out live across the world. I had people coming up to me in the crowd, people stopping me on the range and asking me how on earth I managed to pick Brian Harman as the winner. Well, it was because of this man next to me. We're going to We're going to skip quickly over the fact that after that point, we've not got a single winner.
It's gone cold.
It's not been the best.
It's gone cold.
However, I feel that this year you are again going to give us some gold. So hit us with it, Jacob.
Well, again, as Pete's mentioned, what I'd love to do every major is run through on a statistical basis who I think might win at the major that we're talking about. So obviously we're on about the Masters here. So I would say, without even looking at, so when you see the data and you look at the kind of trends of what it means to be a Masters winner, I think this is probably the easiest event that you could pick from. And the reason being, to start with, is that the last 12 winners have all come from in the top 25. Now, I say in the top 25 and not top 25 in the world because I'm using data golf.
Okay.
I think everyone now has sort of decided that's the way to go when it comes to rankings of players. Obviously, the reason being is the live guys are not getting their points. So I don't want to completely disregard them in any way. I won't run through them all now, but if you want to go on Data Golf and check them out, it's the usual names. But the live guys you've got in there is Bryson, Neiman, and Sergio, and Tyrrell. I think are the four.
Okay.
So after topping on that, the last 9 winners of the last 10 Masters have had a top 6 in a major for the previous 2 seasons.
Okay.
So that cuts it down fairly significantly. I think we lose about 11 players. So the guys we've got left are Scheffler, McIlroy, Morikawa, Rahm, Henley, Lowry, Schauffele, Cantlay, DeChambeau, Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Straka, Oberg, and Min-Woo Lee.
Okay.
So further on top of that, 7 of the last 10 winners have already won earlier on in the season.
Okay.
Of the season that they won. And that cuts us down quite significantly to only 5 players.
Nice.
Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Russell Henley.
You love Russell Henley.
Hideki Matsuyama.
Yeah.
Sepp Straka.
Yeah.
And Min-Woo Lee.
Okay.
And that's your 5. Now, there is, and there's other people who have mentioned this, and I'm sure we'll clip this up for socials as well. But there is a fairly significant sort of strokes gained stat that's been going around on the internet. And essentially, the last 10 winners of the last 12 events have averaged at least 1.7 strokes gained tee to green or better in the 3 months leading up to the event. So off the top of my head, names like Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, Laurie Cantor was one of them in there. And after of all those 5 names, there is only one man that is left. And I have just mentioned his name. So, going off the basis of what you've just said and what the stats are saying, I was trying so hard for this not to be the case, but my 2025 Masters champion is Rory McIlroy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, there you go. I mean, if this is the one that gets me back on again and gets me back on a streak of picking winners, then I'm more than okay with that.
Yeah, I think that'll be fine.
I'm so happy. But I will mention, obviously, there's some guys' names in there, and you are right. I do love Russell Henley. I think he's a really good fit for this year, and I will definitely be betting on him. Sepp Straka's another interesting one. Yeah, he's actually had a really good year on the PGA Tour. Like, again, tee to green, he's been excellent. Min-Woo Lee's funny because, obviously, I think a lot he'll be a popular bet anyway. I think people will, and obviously he's just come off a win. He hits it far. He's good around the green. It's if he can put 4 rounds in a major together, I think probably his one sticking point. And then Shane Lowry. Shane Lowry to me is an interesting one because, again, he's had a sneaky good year. He strikes the ball great. He's had, I think he's had like 6 or 7 top 10s in the last 8 years or something silly. He's got a great record at Augusta. So I love Shane there. And then the only other one because I always just want to make sure I get one in there as a left-handed golfer. Now, obviously, Brian Harman just won, and he's had a couple of decent finishes. But I actually really like Akshay Bhatia this year. I think last year was his first start at Augusta. He's learned a lot in his game. I think he's coming in and playing well. He's not played in the last couple of weeks, but he's he's an interesting one to me. I think just lefties anyway, just round that golf course, it suits them and sets up nicely. You've seen it. However many, there's been like 7 major winners that are left-handed, and 5 of them have come from Augusta. Yeah. You know, you got Mike Weir, Phil, Bubba. List goes on. So Rory McIlroy is my answer to that.
Okay.
But there's a couple of names in there for you guys if you want some slightly longer, not Rory McIlroy names.
Okay, so we will reconvene in approximately 1 week's time to talk and congratulate everyone not on that list.
Yep.
Who had a very
so bet on everyone not there.
Finish. Yeah. I mean, Justin Bros, just stick your money on.
I think that first list of names, that after I'd knocked it out of the top 25, those 14 names in there, you would think by what it says that your winner is in there. You would think so.
You would think so.
But, you know, tread carefully.